While not the first vampire story, Dracula has shaped our modern imagining of the blood-sucking undead, and it has become the quintessential vampire tale for any horror or supernatural fan. The chilling tale of Bram Stoker's Dracula opens with a young British lawyer, Jonathan Harker, starting off on a train journey to finalize some paperwork for a mysterious Count Dracula in Transylvania. Harker's journey leads him through Europe to a strange, foreign land nestled deep in the Carpathian Mountains. As he travels, Harker details in his journal the unique and alien experiences he encounters, from delicious foods to diverse traditionalist cultures. For someone who has never left his native England, these observations at each train stop prove thrilling and exciting. When Harker finally reaches his train's destination, he makes his way to a hotel. While speaking with a worker at the hotel, he finds out that he is to depart to Castle Dracula on a night that holds suspicious reverence to the locals. This ominous message at his departure, coupled with the anxieties of being in a distant land, leaves Harker apprehensive to the coach ride ahead. I'm going to read an excerpt from the text to show you how meticulously Stoker describes the anticipation and dread of this voyage. I would have liked to have asked the driver what this all meant, but I really feared to do so, for I thought that, placed as I was, any protest would have had no effect in case there had been in it an intention to delay. By and by, however, as I was curious to know how time was passing, I struck a match, and by its flame looked at my watch. It was within minutes of midnight. This gave me a sort of shock, for I suppose the general superstition about midnight was increased by my recent experiences. I waited with a sick feeling of suspense. Then a dog began to howl, somewhere in a farmhouse far down the road. A long, agonized wailing, as if from fear. The sound was taken up by another dog, then another, and another, till, borne on the wind which now sighed softly through the pass, a wild howling began, which seemed to come from all over the country, as far as the imagination could grasp it through the gloom of the night. The rest of this journey continues with similar superstition until Harker finally arrives at Castle Dracula. After a late supper together, Dracula cautions Harker against leaving his room after dark, for the castle holds many secrets, many of which are dark. On this note, the Count leaves Harker for the night. Several days pass, and the finalization of the real estate purchase in England progresses slowly each evening. Rapidly growing bored of his nightly confinement, Harker ventures out one night until he discovers a secret of the Count. As I leaned from the window, my eye was caught something moving a story below me, and somewhat to my left, where I imagined, from the lie of the rooms, that the windows of the Count's own room would look out. The window at which I stood was tall and deep, stone mullioned, and though weather-worn, was still complete. But it was evidently many a day since the case had been there. I drew back behind the stonework and looked carefully out. What I saw was the Count's head coming out from the window. I did not see the face, but I knew that the man, by the neck and by the movement of his back and arms. In any case, I could not mistake the hands which I had had so many opportunities of studying. I was at first interested and somewhat amused, for it is wonderful how small a matter will interest and amuse a man when he is a prisoner. But my very feelings changed to repulsion and terror when I saw the whole man slowly emerge from the window and begin to crawl down the castle wall over the dreadful abyss, face down, with his cloak spreading out behind him like great wings. Just as Harker realizes the circumstances of his capture, the Count escapes for England, where Harker's love is awaiting his return. Dracula is an incredible story. It is told in an epistolary style, so the text changes narrators through a series of letters and journal entries. Because of this feature, Stoker's novel is very similar to Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley's well-known horror classic Frankenstein. This style is a literary equivalent of found footage techniques used today in many contemporary horror films. For additional reading, fans of the supernatural could easily turn to John Paul Adori's short story The Vampire. For fans of the exotic nature of Dracula, one could read Charlotte Dacre's Zophoia or The Moor. These stories have similar elements to Stoker's masterpiece, whether it be the characters or the romanticized Near East. The story takes you throughout Europe as you travel to distant villages nestled among the Carpathian Mountains of East Europe, and then back to England as the Count begins haunting those western shores. If you are interested in travel diaries, horror stories, a struggle between good and evil, and/or ethnic and immigration studies, Bram Stoker's Dracula is an incredible book to check out.